let's talk about Kazuha, because, he's come out for a couple of days now, and, I think I know how to build him, kinda. So we're going to talk about maybe, like, the free-to-play build and the paid-to-play build, but I'm going to talk maybe about free-to-play players here, because we don't know what we're doing. So, yeah, let's talk about the free-to-play build for Kazuha, and, what artifact set is good for him, what weapon's good for him, and there's many ways you can play him, but I like to think of him as a pure support, really. He works kind of best in Switch comps, but you can also just use him as a main sub DPS, or you can use him as your main DPS if you really want to go that way, but I like to run him as a support myself, so I'm going to talk about both the build styles in this video. If you guys enjoyed today's video and you want to support me, feel free to sub, because only 4.7% of people watching videos are subscribed, and if you're new, return to the channel. We do get to provide guides and like discussions and all that, so if you want to support me and help me do YouTube full time, feel free to leave me a sub, but let's get into it. So I was running Kazuha on the team as support, as you may know. So, of course, to talk about Matai, we need to talk about his abilities first, his passive. So, his first one obviously will absorb, different statuses or different elements when you're using your E. That's just normal Swirl stuff. And then your other passive is more important. You will be able to grant your party members elemental damage bonus based on your elemental mastery points. So, for example, I have 454 elemental mastery at level 60, which means I will be able to grant my teammates about 18% elemental damage bonus whenever I trigger a Swirl reaction. I feel that's a pretty decent, bonus for free. Hell, I think it even stacks with Diana, but I'm not sure. I know it definitely does not stack with Sucrose, but I think it might stack with Diana with Herba, so that's pretty nice, Constellation-wise, you don't need any constellations, really. Like, his C1's pretty pog, so is his C2. I mean, even his C6 is great. His C4's not as good, but, they're all decent constellations, but you don't need them for them to be good. Weapons that I recommend is, I'd recommend the Iron Sting if you're a free-to-play player, because obviously I think it's best to run him with Elemental Mastery because of the buffs that he can grant his team, and also, have you seen how good Animo is now? Like, even with 454 Elemental Mastery, he does an additional 295% swirl damage. Also, I don't know what this monstrous rate is. I don't know why his crit rate is so high. I mean, his crit damage. Oh my god, he's getting 104 crit damage. Broken from the circle, and that makes a lot of sense. Actually, I'll just throw it on him randomly. So, yeah, he's get that checked out. But yeah, Iron Sting, very, very good weapon for him. I mean, if you really need energy recharge, you could maybe use Festering Desire, or maybe Sacrificial Sword, or Favonius Sword for the energy recharge. But I mean, if you want to run him as like a DPS kind of doing a lot of damage, you can always use Black Sword. But I don't think transformation reactions like Swirl actually crit. So this will just mainly be for, your physical attacks, kinda. But I recommend best in slot Iron Sting, or Freedom Sworn, or the Ali Flash. I think that's what the sword is called, with the one energy recharge. I mean, elemental mastery on it. Also, as you know, as you saw my artifact pieces, I think it's best to run a 4-piece Viridescent Venerer set on him for some massive swirl damage. Now, you could maybe run 2-piece Viridescent Venerer and maybe 2-piece Wanderer's Troop for the Elemental Mastery bonus, but I don't know, personally I feel like having the swirl damage is a lot better. So I run the 4-piece Viridescent Venerer so that it decreases their opponent's resistance as well to specific elements of whatever you swirl with. So yeah, I mean, I also tend to put Elemental Mastery as well as the main stats on the Sands. Feather, generally speaking, my Feather's not very good, so I mean, ignore that. I went for Elemental Mastery and Energy Recharge on the Flower. I also went for, on the Goblet, a bit of Animo damage bonus, but that's because he does a bit of Animo damage and I wanted to increase his damage a bit. But you can also run Elemental Mastery on that, and you can also run Elemental Mastery on the Circlet, but I had this crit damage one lying around and I didn't have an Elemental Mastery Circlet on hand, so I just threw that on him for now while I try and find something better for him. But yeah, I mean, how does he play? Well, I mean, the main thing you got to consider is you either like apply an element first, you press and hold E. Personally, I hold E, but you can press E, like so. Plunge, that does swirl damage, that'll absorb them all together, a bit like Venti's ultimate. And then you do a lot of damage, they're all stuck together, you can switch to your main DPS, just go to town. And his burst is, and I will use it just because, all I know characters have like infinite energy regeneration or something, is you just sort of just pull this out, and you see it's absorbed the water in the well here. But there is something to bear in mind, and that is if you got more than one element in a fight, it will go off of elemental priority. Now, this is something you might not have heard of, but I found out the other day. Can't be the exact order, but I know for a fact that it absorbs pyro first over everything else. So let's say you had a Ganyu and like maybe a Zhangling, and you use your Kazuha burst, it will absorb the Zhangling Goober over the Ganyu's cryo application. So that's just something to bear in mind, is that there is actually an order to what the game prioritizes elemental like reactions over, and it's pyro first. But yeah, I mean that's all you really need to know about Kazuha. Like, you can run him on any team and you'll do great. Like, I'm running him with Ganyu, Chi-Chi and Zhongli, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. But you can also run him with a lot of other like elemental applications. So you could maybe run him with like Hu Tao, Xing Shou. You can run him with a lot of other characters, and he's just a lot of fun. Like, I've genuinely not had so much fun in the character, and I had my doubts about him before he came out, but I have no regrets. I love playing for him. I love playing with him. So yeah, let me know down below. Are you guys enjoying Kazuha? You know, what are you guys building on him? I want to know. What do you guys think might be better for him? But these are just all my thoughts on what I think a decent free-to-play build for him is. But yeah, I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you guys in another video really, really soon. Have a lovely day, everyone.